Hello everyone and welcome to another opening lesson. I hope you enjoyed the Scotch Gambit last week. And this video comes, let's say, as a bonus, because yes, people might play knight f6 and not bishop c5, and then you can't really play this gambit anymore. Knight f6, d4, so that's what we're aiming for, but people might, ruin your plans immediately by playing knight f6. And here, we would not play d3, we wouldn't play passive. We would play d4. We would still go for d4 move because I think it's, attacking opportunity. And after e takes d4, I mean, the best line here, the best move is, to go e5, and then, like, if your opponent plays d5, you go bishop e5, knight e4, and you get a complicated position. And honestly, being honest with you might play this one, but I just think that the thing that I'm about to show you is a bit better in terms of potentially getting, better results. But some people might find it's a bit odd. So e takes d4, main move, and now you go castle. And here, many people on the level, let's say between 1000, even let's say from 500 towards 2000, will play move bishop c5, and then we will transpose to the Scotch Gambit, which I showed you last week. So I don't want to analyze it right now. Here you just play a5, and then if your opponent doesn't play d5 here, then basically he can resign in the next couple of moves because d5 is best. And believe me, many people play knight g4, knight h5, and you'll get very dominant positions right away. But we will look at knight d4. Knight d4 is the main move. Here white play rook e1, basically trying to take the knight because of the pin at e8 king. And the best move, as you might already know, is d5. So d5 is usually, in this Italian structures, d5 is the move that you have to think of all the time. And for those of you who play this position with black pieces, always remember about d5. Never f5, never anything else, never queen e7, just helping your opponent to put even more pressure than knight d2. So let's say that f5 is played. I mean, f5 is a terrible move. First of all, look at this bishop. It is an absolute monster in this diagonal. And here, moves like bishop g5 is just insanely strong, because now, let's say it takes, and if queen is7, I mean, that's about to be super bad. The position is just absolutely horrible. Like, what's one of the computer suggestions here is to play king d8. Like, computer is already like, nah, man, I want to quit. I want to quit this chess game. So yes, f5 is never an option, but d5 is for sure. So d5, and here you play bishop d5, and you might ask, what? The point is, after queen d5, which is of course the main move, you play knight c3. And now d takes c3 is not possible, knight takes c3 is not possible. By the way, d takes c3 is obviously not possible because of the pin. Queen takes d5 and white wins the game. So now there are three options. So there is queen a5, this way. There is queen h5 and king d7. Look, king d7 is probably like the most dubious thing that you will ever see in your life, because that move just doesn't make sense. By the way, right now black are up a piece, so don't be confused. White are not winning any material, they're just trying to take the piece back. So let's start by looking at, let's say, queen d7. Here knight takes on e4, and now let's say if, I don't know, black makes some random move, there is knight f6, and it's a discovered check. So bishop goes to e7, now bishop g5. Now the best move is of course to castle. There could be a lot of other options like h, but of course castle is best because you gotta develop your piece, and then takes knight d4. And this position is equal, but I believe that, I mean, white probably not push, the position is equal, but I just don't think that it will be reached, let's say, between 1000 and 2000 though. But I think it's just very important that you actually look at this position, queen f6, and then takes, and okay, you have a slight pressure, you have open e-file. It's still equal, and it should be a draw in the end, but you never know. But yeah, it's just, equal. So that's about it on queen d7 line, because I don't think there is much to analyze. You could also play rook e4, but rook e4, like, you also gotta think of the queen on d1, because let's say bishop 7, you take on d4, yes, you take on d4, but in many lines that's a huge problem. Let's say now f5 is a move, and now let's say rook f4 is best, but you know, it looks scary. What if some g5 comes at any point? Let's say castle, now g5 ID, and you're trying to exploit the pin on d file. So it's a bit complicated. Like now best is this, but what is this rook doing on f4? Like the plan would be to play something like g5 f4 and then try to attack the king. So yes, you gotta play knight d4 almost in all lines. In queen a5, queen h5, you always play knight d4. So let's get to the second popular option, which is queen h5. I honestly don't see it played a lot, but sometimes, yeah, people play queen h5, and I'm a bit confused. Like, what's this move here? Once again, you continue with knight e4 and bishop e7. Bishop e7 is most of the time the best option. Let's say bishop e6. That's played more often in queen a5 line. We'll analyze it a little bit later. Bishop g5, and here there is, like, let's say, not a trap, but a good position for white h6. You play bishop f6. The idea is now the bishop cannot be taken due to knight f6 and knight h5. So bishop e7 takes, and now white just get a better endgame because their knights in the center are just too good. And potentially e-file, d-file, you know, it's a very good position for white pieces. One of the options is, of course, to play bishop d6, which, again, you know, giving up your bishop, but that's the best option here. You take bishop f4, attacking the d6 pawn, and now queen d5 cft. Once again, the pawn cannot be taken due to queen d5, and bishop cannot take due to rook e8. So castle, and yes, this again should end in a draw. You might ask me, Ronka, why you're showing us this position? Because guys, look, the thing I'm showing you, because bishop c5 might be played, yes, and then you'll go for Deutsch Gambit, but sometimes people get super confused what to do after knight f6. Yes, many people would like to play knight g5, but look guys, let's say on a higher level, like, do you know a lot of theory here? I mean, I bet I know some theory with black pieces, and I bet I might destroy you just in 20 moves here. Because look, sometimes you gotta know a lot of theory. I played this position with white pieces against strong players, and you know, it's getting very complicated. It's very, you know, hard task. So you rather play something like g4 to confuse your opponent as well, and then yes, and after castle, if bishop c5, once again the Deutsch Gambit, and you play 5 and you're all good. And this is the position that I hope you will get a lot more often, because some players might be scared to take on f4, and then after rook e1 they're getting confused. They might play 5, they might play d5, which is best. But again, I'm showing you advanced theory, and I think it's very important for you to learn it. Once again, there will be a link in the description with the opening file, so go check it out, please, and try to play some training games. Try maybe to play this against bots, like let's say even against Martin. Just try to set it up, try to play against it, or some more advanced bot like 1800s bots. Just play these positions for a while. So knight c3, once again, king d7, queen a5, queen h5. So queen a5 would be the most popular option. I faced it a lot in my over the board chess games, and after knight d4, bishop e7, okay, that's one of the moves, but I think after bishop g5 you're getting kind of comfortable position. Takes, and you have a little bit, let's say, slightly better endgame after all. So the best move is not bishop e7. The best move, and what I face the most in my life, is bishop e6. Here you would play knight g5, attacking the bishop on e6, and the best move here is, of course, to take to go long castle. So let's say moves like h6 don't really work, because you just take, and king is still in the center. Queen f5 doesn't really work as well, because you can just take this one and then place your queen to d4. It's a good position. So long castle, knight e6 takes, and now it's an equal position with 6 versus 6 pawns. And now the best move here is h6, basically trying to prevent bishop g5. Let's say bishop d6. Bishop d6 is an interesting move, because here after bishop g5, rook 8, queen e2, there is a trick. If you play this position with black pieces, or if you ever face a Scotch game, there is a very interesting move, king d7. And guess what? It looks like rook e1 and you're threatening to take the rook, and if rook e6, queen e6 is a checkmate. But in reality, I played this once. I didn't know the position well. I played it one of the first times, and I played rook e1, and then I was shocked when my opponent played queen e1, and I think I ended up maybe drawing or maybe even losing the game, because queen a1 and rook a6, he got 2 rooks for the queen, so it got very, very complicated. But yeah, that's like, let's say, a little trap. So, but after queen e2, king d7, you don't have to basically go rook e1. You can play rook e8 takes and then king d3, and you start threatening h7 pawn. You start trying to basically play on both sides and try to create threats. So let's say g6, queen b3, you're threatening b7, you're threatening to play queen f7. And white are slightly better. But h6 is the move that prevents bishop g5 from happening, and I think it's a great option. Queen e2, and also remember about queen e2 option, because queen e2 is the move that, I mean, you gotta protect your rook on e6, and queen e2 is almost always works. I mean, queen e2 is just the move that you gotta remember all the time. Now, queen f5. Queen f5 is best, but look, I'm just not sure what people might play here. First of all, I don't think people will play h6 here, but again, I'm showing you for your, you know, kind of better understanding of what you have to do, what plans you might have in different types of position. Once again, your idea is to play bishop g5 and just triple queen, rook, and rook on e file, and then try to create threats. As long as you triple your queen and 2 rooks on e file without, let's say, this queen in 1 idea, you should be better. Because when you have so much things on one open file, that's usually really good. But h6, yes, kind of, you know, prevents us from playing bishop g5, and you gotta solve the problem of advancing your bishop from c1. Queen f5, rook goes to e4. So our idea at some point to play bishop d2, but bishop d2 is not possible due to queen c2. So we first play rook e4, and now we play bishop d2. So bishop g7, rook goes to e1, queen d5, attacking the queen side pawns, b3, and once again, guys, the position is around equal, but I think white have a little edge here. h4, potentially a lot of weaknesses on the king side. This h6 pawn is, by the way, not very good. g4 cannot be played. So yes, white generally gets, you know, good positions from it. Try to learn these lines, try to play them against bots. Once again, you can set it up, and I really doubt that you will play this unless you're a like 2000 level player. Most of the time, once again, people will play bishop c5 and protect the pawn on d4, or do something stupid like, let's say, one of the moves to analyze is, let's say, simple d6. They want to develop, then you just take on d4, and I mean, that's, let's say, just a regular position. You just develop your pieces, play very slowly. There are not a lot of traps. You just play chess here. But yes, of course, I want you to crush your opponent, and I hope that your opponent plays bishop c5 and then you play e5 and win the game, but you can't expect it to happen in every game. So that's it from me for today. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed the opening, if you think that will help you in the long term, because I think like this Deutsch Gambit and then the Scotch Gambit might have significant influence on your results online specifically. And yes, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next one. Let me know what openings I should do next. Maybe Caro-Kann. I have an interesting idea in Caro-Kann as well to show you, not Alien Gambit, something that I learned many years ago, but I think it might be powerful in many ways. Again, I'll be reading your comments. Go down below and write something down. See you soon. Bye bye.